The biggest issue with money laundering, and something that we need to get our head across here in Australia, is that it is extremely profitable. It's extremely profitable for the law firms, the real estate agencies, the accountants. If someone comes to you and they want to settle 18 properties with you, that is extremely profitable, and it's very hard to turn that away. Yeah, so Tranche 2 is the second wave of the AML legislation. It's originally Tranche 1 includes the financial sector, so everyone who has a bank account, borrows or lends money. That's kind of the Tranche 1. Tranche 2 is aimed at gatekeeper professions, so your lawyers, your accountants, your real estate agents. Now they're further down the money laundering chain. I guess it's about how they convert cash to assets, and that's a real primary concern in the anti-money laundering space, because being able to move cash through your accountants, your lawyers, your real estate agents is a major problem across the world. I think especially in 2023 we're seeing so much news come out about these big gang busts, these drug busts, and in all of these articles they say stuff like, oh, we confiscated 18 properties. And as someone in the AML profession, I always think about, how did they get those properties? How did they buy those properties? Now, that is a direct relation and a direct correlation of not having strong anti-money laundering laws in place for Tranche 2 and lawyers, accountants, and real estate agents, because they're able to move these funds into properties. And that affects all of us, right? Like, everyone realizes the cost of housing across Australia is so high right now. The average person can't afford to buy a home, and it's being exacerbated by these people fueling dirty money into property. I think the biggest issue with money laundering, and something that we need to get our head across here in Australia, is that it is extremely profitable. It's extremely profitable for the law firms, the real estate agencies, the accountants, even if they don't know that's what's happening, right? If someone comes to you and they want to settle 18 properties with you, that is extremely profitable, and it's very hard to turn that away. And that's why legislation in this space is so important, because if you have to do these checks, you're on a level playing field with everyone else. I think some of the challenges are going to be that some of these sectors who traditionally have not had to do anti-money laundering checks before will have a steep learning curve as the legislation rolls out. However, there's a lot of things that can help with that, like technology and a lot of consultants in the space. And I think the really good thing about legislation is that it affects everyone in your industry, right? So if you can do it faster and better than your competitors, you'll actually have a competitive edge when onboarding clients and putting them through a smooth process. So I think it's going to be a big challenge for a lot of players, but the people who can do it right and do it quickly are going to benefit the most. Some of the positive outcomes will really show the world that Australia is not open for money laundering business, which I think it's a big source of it right now. I think some of the other positive changes are going to be around like how we can help the less fortunate avoid a lot of these scams. So a lot of scams involve stealing people's identity and using those identities to open up fake companies and things like that. With anti-money laundering laws and identity checking becoming a requirement, we can reduce some of that fraud. Things to learn from other countries that have implemented Tranche 2 is about creating a culture of compliance. So from day one, if you can permeate a culture of compliance within the organization so that everyone knows, hey, number one, why we're doing it, and number two, how we're doing it. What they can do right now is have a look at how they're going to start implementing this process. The key thing here is, look, there's 100,000 reporting entities for Australia that will go live at about the same time across law, accounting, and real estate. So the key will be, if you can jump on it early, figure out how you're going to do it, look at the right technologies that you want to implement to action this. The earlier, honestly, the better. You want to get set up for it, because when the wave hits, everyone will be looking for solutions, everyone will be looking for consultants, and everyone will be looking to hire AML specialists, which there won't be that many of if there's 100,000 new reporting entities all at once. I think technological advances in the anti-money laundering space have created like a vast amount of efficiency over the last few years. especially since COVID. So back in the old days, you had to meet everyone in person and verify their identity in person or via certified copies. In today's day and age, there's so much technology around remote verification, confirming someone's identity, biometric checking, anti-detection tampering technology for identity documents. So the people who get this right can move really, really quickly into a digital onboarding first process that will allow them to continue to scale their business really quickly while their competitors sort of flounder around trying to figure out how to do this. Just get on it early, do it properly, and create a scalable process. Because like with any process, if this breaks down or it's not done properly from day one, it can create, a nightmare experience for your customers.